welcome to Growing Bremerton Together. I'm Patty Lent, your mayor, and I have with me today Carol Atkinson. She's with Bremerton Main Stream Association, and I have Carlos Jara, and he's with the Downtown Business Association. We're going to talk a little bit about what they have done for Bremerton and for the businesses that we have. Carol, tell me how long the Main Stream has been organized and in our city.
Well, it started about 1984, and I've been with them since 1986. So it's been a while. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of promotions in the downtown area, and we start our year with the St. Patrick's Parade, and then we do the concerts on the boardwalk, although we help the Port of Bremerton with the Kitsap Harbor Festival, and then the Blackberry Festival, which is this year will be the 21st year of the Blackberry Festival. And then we do the Santa Arrival in downtown Bremerton, which is on the first Friday in December. And then we also do coordinate the bricks and the granites on the boardwalk in downtown Bremerton. So.
You've seen a lot of changes, haven't you?
Many.
And it's pretty exciting what we have now, but a little bit challenging, isn't it, about the festivals coming up because of the changes and the construction that we've been having each summer?
Every year it seems like we have to work around more changes, more constructions and things like that, but you know, it's been nice because of all of the new things in the area and how much more people like to come down and see the fountains and the boardwalk and the hotels and things like that. So it's certainly a progress.
That's great. Carlos, how long has the Downtown Business Association been involved with our businesses?
Well, the Downtown Bremerton Association began in the late 80s. It was known as Swing City here in the community, made up primarily of small business owners in downtown. Through its years, it's evolved to the Downtown Bremerton Business Association. Now we're known as Downtown Bremerton Association, DBA. Mm-hmm. I've been part of the association now since 2004 when I first opened my first business, mm-hmm. back then at the Harborside District, which was my shipping store. This past year I was elected to the president of the board. We are an evolving organization. It is made up of small business owners and members of the community. We are very unique in our desire to promote the downtown business development, specifically small business, and just get people downtown both to shop, live, and be part of the community down there.
And this year, because of our short session with the legislature, I know that you'd like to protect some of the funding that might be available
right.
in promoting businesses. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
There is a national organization, the National Historic Preservation Association, which oversees the Main Street program within the United States. And it franchises it out through all the states, both through state organizations or through private entities. Here in the state of Washington, our franchise is through the Department of Commerce. There is a goal within the state to cut funding for this program. There's not much support in DOC. And our goal as an affiliate of the Main Street program is to actually move the Main Street program from DOC to DAP, the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation, where it actually fits in. There is a bill in legislature, it's actually going to committee tomorrow, House Bill 2704, mm-hmm. which our goal is to move the funding and the program from Department of Commerce to DAP, with its current budget intact. And basically we just want a lifeline and be allowed to keep this program in play here because of what it does to the community in both Bremerton and the state of Washington and all the communities here in the state that actually participate in Main Street programs.
I understand there's about 85 communities that are involved,
right.
and 11 that actually have the identification as Downtown Main Street.
Correct. That is correct. Mm-hmm. And we are, as a Downtown Bremerton Association, we're actively pursuing that designation. And with that designation, it allows us to receive tax credits from the state as well, which we would like to use for the development of downtown, both in the promotion of it, the beautification of it, and business recruitment is probably the biggest thing that I like to see down there. I like to see a lot more businesses so people have more of a reason to come downtown and spend their money locally.
Exactly. I hope we do have success. Mm-hmm. Any kind of promotion and marketing we all can use as a business and as a city. With our businesses now, knowing that they're in full swing since the 80s, we have great festivals, and the first one coming up is your responsibility, Carol, and it's the St. Patrick's Day. Now, again, with some construction, what creative things do you have for us this year?
Well, I think you came up with the most creative thing this year, Mayor. I think when we started talking about the St. Patrick's Parade and you introduced the fact that we might be able to walk through the tunnel during our parade, we don't like to say march because that kind of makes people think they have to be in a group and actually be precision marchers, and that's not the case in our parade. Our parade is for everyone to be in, and we encourage everyone to be in it. We'd rather have them in the parade than watching the parade, and so this gives a chance for children and adults that normally wouldn't be in a parade to participate. We encourage dogs and wagons and skateboards and whatever to just be in and just have a fun time.
I remember when the mayor was Louis Mentor, and didn't he have stilts?
Yes, he did.
And this was one
He
of the
came every
parades.
year to our parade with stilts, and it was really...
Who started this parade?
Actually, Tim Ryan.
One of our developers and
Right,
builders.
right. And he came to us and wanted to know if we would help put on a parade, and we have every year. So.
And about how many people in the past, just an average, have participated?
Well, of course, it always depends on the weather, and normally we've had anywhere from maybe 100 to 300, depending on, and we have had the parades. One morning I woke up and I looked out my bedroom window and I thought, why have the neighbors put white sheets on their lawn? And it turned out to be snow. So we've had snow, we've had sleet, we've had rain, we've had really nice 65, 70 degree days of sun, which is not frequent, but we have. So we've done a parade in just about all kinds of weather.
Now, before the parade, is there a potato race?
There is a Bankers Irish potato race, and we encourage the banks to get involved and do a relay race. It's a 4-block relay race, and each bank decorates a wheelbarrow with whatever colors and that they want to do for their bank, and then they get a 5-pound bag of potatoes, Irish potatoes, of course. And they put in a new bag of potatoes at every block of their relay, and so they end up with 20 pounds of potatoes each, and if that gets, it depends on how many bankers are involved, but then we donate all of those potatoes to the Salvation Army. So
that's great.
I think that's a great...
and then how does the parade end?
Well, we this year, of course, we'll go through the tunnel, and then we will end at between the fountain between the Hampton Inn Hotel and the Convention Center, and we have some festivities at the end of the parade. We have the Parks Department brings a little leprechaun that kids can get their picture taken through. Well, anybody can get their picture taken. Put their head through the leprechaun, and if they bring their cameras, they can have a photo. And then we have corned beef and cabbage. Cloverleaf Sports Bar comes down with corned beef and cabbage dinner, very nice. And there's a charge for that, but it makes it real nice. We have, from time to time, have Irish dancers down. We have the Tacoma Scots Bagpipe Band. So we try to keep the theme going.
That's great. If a new citizen wanted to take and walk through the tunnel or be part of the parade, what do? They contact you?
No, just come down. We will have a sign-up. We've changed the sign-up area this year due to the construction and all of the different things and going through the tunnel. So we're going to do that on 5th Street between Pacific and Park. And so all they have to do is sign up and let us know who's walking through, and then we will just sign them a number, call their number, and then they go through it, starting
Terrific.
at 11:15.
11:15 is when you start?
We start the Bankers Potato Race at 11 o'clock.
At 11 o'clock.
Right.
And the tunnel is only 900 feet long, so it's not a tremendous walk for anyone of any age. And I think this is a marvelous time for any citizen that wasn't there when we dedicated the tunnel. It's our tunnel, and I think it's a grand thing for us to use it. And we wouldn't mind if it rained. So
well, that part of it anyway.
that part. Sounds like a great event.
It is fun.
And the next event that we have actually is our Armed Forces Day Parade. That's always on Armed Forces Day, about the third week in May. And following that on Memorial Day, you're responsible for a portion of the Harbor Festival. Could you tell us about that?
This year will be the second annual Kitsap Harbor Festival. Last year was put on by Main Stream and the port. Very successful. A lot of people came to downtown. It gave something for Bremertonians and the greater Kitsap community to come do here in Bremerton, which was nice. The Downtown Bremerton Association actually put together a cool car cruise on Pacific last year. We had a couple of hundred cars that came down here. A lot of people from the community came down and saw the cars. The weather was perfect. You couldn't ask for better weather. A lot of people came down, observed the cars, walked around, were just amazed by the sheer amount of cars, a couple of hundred down here. And the fact that it was something that you'd expect in a community like Bremerton. When we go to other communities in the area, smaller communities, that you see these things happening, it's kind of cool to have this in our own backyard and kind of allow the community to come down here and check it out. This year we plan to do it a little bit bigger. Rumor has it we're probably looking at 300 to 400 cars, which would be really nice. The people that actually bring their cars, the historic cars here, they actually pay a fee to participate. And what we're doing with the fee is we're donating a substantial part of it to the Bremerton Food Line as a means for us to give back to a local charity. It's a good thing to do, and it's only $15 for the registration for the people that actually are bringing their cars, and $10 of that will go to the Bremerton Food Line, which is something we're very proud of. So we look forward to getting everybody to come down here. We hope the weather cooperates. There should be a lot of cool things for all the family to come and see here in downtown Bremerton, in addition to the boats and the events down on the water itself.
Now, I know that there are some different car clubs that participate. There's the Mustang and the Corvettes. They actually have branches of these car clubs, like in Port Orchard, or there's some in Bremerton? Or do they come from Tacoma and Seattle,
They
all
come
over?
from all over Western Washington. It's amazing how far there's a lot of support with people that have historic cars, and they actually make a point to go to as many events as possible and show up their pride and joy, their beauty, their car. So they come from hundreds of miles, and I know last year we had people with the Hood Canal Bridge being closed. Last one we had people driving around the Hood Canal and adding 3 or 4 hours to their normal commute to bring their car to Bremerton. There was a lot of dedication. They wanted to be part of it. So they showed up a little late, but they were happy to be here. And again, the community loved it. A lot of people in downtown. It definitely helped out the downtown businesses that were open, and we're hoping that more businesses will be open this year to accommodate the sheer amount of people that come down for both the Pacific event and the events down at the boardwalk. So,
will there be some awards for those, like Best of Show?
There is awards, and that's something that Chris Nordleaf at that hair place down on Pacific, she's facilitating that. And if you want more information, please contact Chris Nordleaf at that hair place, and she can tell you more about the awards.
Do you have a phone contact for her?
I don't have her number handy.
Well, we'll be sure that we get that, because it's a pretty exciting thing, whether you're a car owner and you can display and show, or if you just want to see all the fascination of it. And then besides the car show, we're down on the boardwalk, and what can we expect for not only the marine boaters, but for the Harbor Festival? What else is going down on the waterfront?
Well, we have sort of a mini Blackberry Festival down there, because we haven't grown to that extent yet, being the second year. But we have booths, vendor booths, and then we have entertainment for 3 days down there. And we also have the Bremerton Central Lions come down and do a pancake breakfast on Saturday morning. And then after the pancake breakfast, we have some little inflatables for the children to use during that time. But it's
and do you know how early they're going to start feeding the pancake breakfast?
I heard about 7:30. You may know different.
I'm part of, or a member of the Bremerton Central Lions, and that's a new event for them, and they had a great time. And
did a great job. And served a lot. I think they ran out of food last year.
But they ran out.
I don't think they're going to this year. So.
One thing I wanted to add with the Harbor Festival as well is the regatta component, which is something for those who have sailboats that want to participate. You can sail your boat in the regatta here in the inlet, which would be really nice.
I was just going to say too that they're having the regatta, plus some events out on the breakwater. So and the tall ships. We have a lot of tall ships coming in this year, and I think the marinas are filling up fast, both in Port Orchard and in Bremerton already with knowledge of the second annual Kitsap
So they
Harbor
can
Festival.
get in touch with the Bremerton Marina as far as if they wanted to use a
Right.
slip or
Yes.
have any mortgage during that time. And it's a one-day event,
3 days.
3 days event.
Yes. And a lot of the tall
Friday,
ships
Saturday,
will
Sunday.
begin coming in on Friday.
Mhm.
So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then they will have, I heard that the Navy League is going to be putting on a re-enlistment ceremony out on the breakwater. And also we have things going on in Port Orchard. The seagull calling contest has moved to this event, which is, I think,
Oh,
just
my.
fits in perfectly.
It does.
So, yes, a lot of just
Well, we will be having, I know that Port Orchard and Bremerton Together are going to have transportation on the foot ferry between the two cities. So that will bring, again, visitors on both sides. In growing Bremerton, it isn't just extending from downtown through all of our districts. It's actually bringing our tourists, having festivals like this that support the businesses that we want this outside influence. So as much publicity and marketing that we can do, it will be great. So I'm sure the Sun will carry articles. Perhaps we'll have a chance to get them in other newspapers as well, so that people will look to Bremerton for specific holidays. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Growing Bremerton Together. I'm now with the director of BCAT, and that's Charlene. You're going to ask me a few questions about what's going on.
Time to talk about our city issues and topics, and I think the first one on the list is we're bringing on a new financial services director, Mayor. Tell us a little bit about Barb Stevenson.
Barb Stevenson has been a friend of mine since she first became the treasurer of the county. That's been 7 years ago, and I had realized some of her efficiencies. The things I liked about her was she really thought about bringing finances in a different manner to the county. And I think that our city needs to have some new creative ways of revenue and cutting back on some of the spending. So after becoming the mayor, I kind of sought out who would be someone very trustworthy that I really could work with and move the city forward in a direction I thought was most important. So that's how Barbara became finance director.
Good.
The city wanted her. There are some certain or specific requirements for directors, and the one thing lacking was a 4-year degree. And so I had to do some research. Barbara presented to us all of the things that she had accomplished and which qualified her in experience. She does have the qualifications of that, but not actually that degree. So in future, we'll look out so that we do follow all those directions as far as what the specifications are. She begins on the 17th of February, and right after she begins, we're going to have our retreat.
Tell us about the retreat and what are your goals for that, and who attends the retreat?
This retreat will be just one day. Normally it's a 2-day retreat, and we talk about the future goals, our priorities, the vision from the mayor's point of view, as well as all department heads. So all directors will be in attendance, including someone from the court. So the judge himself won't be there, but Teresa
Excellent.
will be there. We'll have Terry will be there from the conference center, and Scott from the golf course. So for part of it, we want to have all of the things that we are responsible for in the city, either
Represent.
revenue generating or that we have expenses and obligations for. This year, it's a 1-day because with Barbara, new in finance, we're going to actually talk about the evaluation that we just had done through the Greg Prothman
Right.
and Associates.
And that report is due to you right before the retreat, is that correct?
We should have a summary and an outline by the 12th. I would like to present that to all of our directors so they have time enough to weigh in on the information. He's got lots of things that he's done. Actually, 50 people were interviewed. And from that, he is making recommendations based on financial efficiencies, how things are done in each of the departments, and if there's any overlapping. With the directors taking that information and weighing in, then we will discuss that, come to a conclusion, so before all the departments are actually going to have any new information or new directives, we'll all weigh in together on that.
So the Prothman, just to give everybody some background, was an efficiency study that the city contracted with Greg Prothman, and he has a multitude of folks that work with him. And they interviewed every department, not every staff person, but every department was talked to about what could they do better, what did they see the city could do better, what could be combined, different things. It's called an efficiency study,
Right.
and it will be fabulous information.
I think that as a new mayor, and especially with the new finance director, that this is the best way for us to start out the year. The efficiency and effectiveness of how we're doing things, I think, is majorly important. I know the direction that I'd like us to go, but I need to take and have that evaluation, that study, so that we're going to move in a step-by-step manner, that everyone buys into it, and that it's going to be the best way for the city to move forward.
Excellent. Mayor, another big integral part of that is the Prothman study, your department head retreat, but you also just had a transition team meeting or a day-long event. Tell everybody about that.
I actually had 2 days. We didn't finish it in
great.
the one day. We started with 12 community leaders from businesses, from the college, from the Navy.
Did you hand select those people?
I actually did.
Good.
People that I had worked with over the years. Some were recommended. They either have information from their own company or from even government, public and private. I thought the importance was to get their minds together. We had each one of our directors come in and make a presentation. In that presentation, they talked about their goals, what they had achieved in 2009, the financing, so that they knew if they were grant funded or revenue funded, tax funded, how these accomplishments were going to be again achieved for 2010, and then some of the things that might have been hurdles or might be need
Some attention.
some attention to. Exactly. After they made the presentations, we had little notes and reviews taken, and we right now are getting back all of the summaries from each one of those members, and then we'll take and compile all that information. I'm hoping.
And I bet some of them are very verbose, and maybe some of them are just bullets. I bet there's a whole
some
different
are bullets,
spectrum.
some are 2 or 3 paragraphs. One specifically is 5 pages. So we have a copious information from that person, but we're going to whittle it down so that it actually does give us the type of thing that we want to look at. When I say we, it's again the department heads. They gave the presentation. It's only fair that they know the outcome and what we're going to do with that information.
But ultimately, I think, Mayor, it's your goals. Your goals will come out of what the department heads and Prothman and the retreat and the the transition team.
Yes.
Those will formulate your goals. And you'll find, I think, our department heads are very goal-oriented, because they've always been, or not always, the past administration was really focused on goals and check it off and check it off. And do you work that way?
I work with a checkoff system to accomplish something, and there has been a time in my life where my goals, I would reach a goal and then step on to the next goal without even enjoying that first goal. I've learned to take and at least take some deep breaths and appreciate the people that have reached those goals with me. I definitely came on board as the new mayor with my own goals. What I've done as far as gathering information, whittling down some of the things that are currently happening, is I wanted a closer view. I'm a broad thinking person, so I'm not thinking just about today and tomorrow. I'm thinking about what my grandchildren are going to see in the city of Bremerton. What kind of businesses are we going to sustain? And I really mean sustain. So the new ones that we're drawing to the city, will be there for a long time and will be just the right type of business that we're looking for.
Excellent, Mayor. I think it's very important to share with our community that we shop local. We have seen in our news, our local newspapers, we're losing local businesses, businesses that have been in existence for 29, 30, 35 years. I'm talking specifically about a restaurant that I just read about today. We need to support these businesses locally so these people can stay in business, so when the economy does come back, their business is still intact.
Shar, you're so right. Our guest today were just telling us about the festivals, the things that we're doing to attract people to our city. We need to support our businesses with as many outside visitors as we possibly can. And with new residents that we have downtown, with a second aircraft carrier that's coming in December, we are on just the verge of having that happen. So that support is coming. We need to make sure that they can sustain until this economy turns, and that's what I'm working for.
That's great. Mayor, you're doing a great job. How's your social calendar? How's your, I know lots of people are coming in. How's that going?
The social calendar is lots of people coming in. I'm working as a catalyst, so it means that I can do some networking when they come in and then turn them over to the right people in the right departments to get something done. The neighbors are wonderful, the community's been great, and we are on a trend, and it's all uphill.
Well, Mayor, it looks like we're out of time for today.
Thank you, Shar. Before we leave, I want to remind you to contact Bremerton Main Stream and Downtown Business Association. The numbers will be shown on the screen. I appreciate you joining me in growing Bremerton together. I'll see you next time.